listening to
Catholics Round,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith.
Today is August 22nd, the feast of the Queenship of Mary. Today we celebrate Mary's role in our lives and her role in the Church. She is truly the Queen of heaven and earth, and as such, she not only calls us home to heaven to reside with her forever, she is also our warrior queen, active on earth, active in the Church, defending us against the temptations we face and helping us fight spiritual battles. A reading from the book of Revelations. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its heads. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that it might devour her child the moment he was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. And her child was snatched up to God and to his throne. The woman fled into the wilderness to a place prepared for her by God, where she might be taken care of for 1,260 days. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, the ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Today we celebrate the Queenship of Mary. To understand the significance of this feast and why Mary truly is our warrior queen, we need to first go back to ancient Israel and the Ark of the Covenant. God directed the ancient Israelites to construct the Ark of the Covenant, a sacred box made from the finest materials and topped with 2 beautiful golden cherubim. The Ark of the Covenant housed 3 sacred objects: the tablets of the 10 Commandments, manna from the desert, and Aaron's staff. Each of these objects testified to the fact that God was real and God was active and present with the Israelites. The Ark of the Covenant, however, was simply a foreshadowing of the true Ark. Mary, the Mother of God and the Queen of heaven and earth, is the true Ark. Where the Ark of the Covenant from the Old Testament contained only objects that testified to the presence of God, Mary, during her pregnancy, contained God himself. Therefore, we can learn a lot about Mary and her role in the Church by studying the way ancient Israel honored the Ark. The Israelites treated the Ark of the Covenant with the utmost respect. It was carried only by Levite priests, and the ark traveled with the Israelites during their 40 years of wandering in the desert. When they stopped, the Israelites built a sacred tent to house the ark before the temple was built later on to house it. During King David's reign, he brought the ark into Jerusalem, and he danced with joy before it. And when the Israelites went to war, they brought the Ark of the Covenant with them as a conduit of divine power. But remember, the Ark was just a foreshadowing of what was to come. Christ is our warrior king, and Mary is our warrior queen. We should never cease to carry them with us into our spiritual battles with sin and temptation. However, God and his servant Mary does not fight with earthly weapons. God fights evil with its opposite. He fights evil with love and mercy. The spiritual struggle against sin is the life of the church. We hear in Revelations of a great red dragon and a war that breaks out between the dragon and the angels. Although this battle still rages all around us, we can remain confident that our warrior queen is at our side, and in the end, God will win the victory for us. When Jesus ascended into heaven, and later when Mary was assumed body and soul into heaven, our King and Queen did not leave us. Instead, it is as if they have climbed a great hill so as to have a higher vantage point on the battle. From heaven, Mary continues to direct us as our warrior queen. She is indeed still active in the world and offers us heavenly weapons to combat the forces of evil. In 1214, Mary appeared to Saint Dominic in the woods outside Toulouse, France, giving him the Rosary. From that time, Mary has continued to remind her children through various apparitions in Lourdes, Fatima, and Cabejo to pray the Rosary and offer up suffering for the redemption of souls. Prayer and sacrifice are the true weapons of heaven. And it is under our Queen's banner that we will defeat sin and death through the power of God and enter the eternal reward of heaven. Mary, Queen of heaven and earth, pray for us.
That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God created you to be.
Thank you so much for listening to the Catholic Sprouts podcast. I hope that you enjoyed this week of audio stories. If you would like to download more coloring pages and listen to more audio stories, which is truly such a simple and beautiful way to live liturgically in your home or classroom, then I invite you to do that for absolutely free. Simply follow the link in this podcast episode's notes to be a subscriber of Catholic Sprouts, and you will instantly get access to everything. Bookmark the page, come back during the various months of the year, download as many as you like, and we truly hope that they bless your family and your classroom.
This podcast is part of the Spoke Street Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.